Hey girl, what is your name?
My name is Amber.
And we go to the same university. What's your major?
My major is in journalism with a concentration in public relations and a minor in English literature.
How old are you?
I am 19 years old.
And you play in a band.
I do. I play in a band called the Cowboys Boys.
What instrument do you play?
I'm a violinist, actually, an electric violinist. We're like a chaotic mathcore band. It's a lot of fun.
And today we're going to talk about Ted Cruz and his recent Twitter scandal, also New York University and their correlation of masturbation and rape. So, are you ready?
I guess. I'm excited to see what this is going to sound like.
Alright, let's get started.
Okay, cool.
Okay, hey guys, we're going to go ahead and get started with this video, talking about Ted Cruz, of course, and first of all, you have seen it on Twitter, right?
I have, of course I have. I was awake when it happened.
It was trending.
Yeah, it was trending.
It was number one.
Yeah, I was like, imagine when, I don't know if it was Ted Cruz himself, but like imagine him like waking up and seeing that, like, oh my gosh, I'm trending, and sees why.
Yeah, and he claims that his team runs his Twitter account as well, and that it must have been a hack or it must have been someone who accidentally liked it, but he himself did not say that he liked it. I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know, like, I feel like recently there's been a rise in politicians that have really been using their own Twitters, and I don't know, like, you have to kind of go looking for that sort of thing, like,
I agree, it doesn't just like pop up on your timeline, like.
Yeah, exactly, you gotta go looking for the account. Clearly he doesn't follow it, or other people would have, like, seen that as follows. Like, I imagine he was just vibing out one night, and with a glass of wine, and, you know.
A lot of people are putting him under fire because it was 9/11 when he liked that tweet, and that's a day of remembrance and memorial and
disrespectful.
And disrespectful, especially when he was the governor of Texas at one time, and he was for a bill that promoted the abstinence-only education and trying to illegalize masturbation itself.
I feel like I saw something like that or about that directly after reading Ted Cruz saying, like, people were saying it was ironic. I didn't even know that he attempted to pass or some sort of legislative environment.
He was running for a position that had a team surrounding him that believed that masturbation was evil. Masturbation was only for two people. They believed in monogamy and that it should be kept behind doors, and if you yourself,
that it's some sort of like just immoral thing inherently and like not monogamous too.
Right.
That's an interesting sort of take on it, because I literally did not even know that that was something that you can even attempt to pass a legislature on. Like, I guess it really is a testament to how like conservative his views are,
and how in politics religion can really eke itself in there.
Yeah, like that's such a I've never heard of a more like that there's no argument that that's like any sort of separation of church and state, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you even like attempt to enforce that? You know?
You
like,
can't.
You can't. You can't think of a way. Like, you know, the secret police, like, I'm gonna call like the masturbation police, like heard little Jimmy jacking off from the room over, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just really strange. I can't, like, I don't know. That's something.
And that kind of leads us into the topic of New York University, I believe it was. They had an agreement placed this starting school year, 2017-2018, between roommates, that whenever you decide or whenever your habitual masturbation is, whether it's in the morning before class or in the afternoon after lunch or before you go to sleep at night, you're supposed to let your other roommate or roommates know when you decide to do the deed. Yeah. And their reasoning for this, I think, is, well, they said that it helps prevent rape.
That's a lot to unpack. Let's unpack this. Oh man. Oh, I can't even wrap my head around that. Like,
initially, in my opinion, it's good that they're trying to get a hold and especially bring voice to campus rape, college rape, but that has no correlation.
I really can't think of a more like backwards way to like that approach such a so they are let me get this straight. So they are encouraging masturbation that's like, you know, doesn't cross boundaries in order to prevent rape, like on women.
Yes, on women.
Already implying that like men are the only people who masturbate.
And also women are the only ones to be raped. I understand that they are the majority, but to think that men getting one out is going to prevent
like that's really incredibly strange to me because especially with New York University, I imagine most universities are liberal institutions, especially like a collegiate one. You'd think they'd have the research. Rape has never ever been a situation of men having like, you know, being repressed sexually. Like if anything, it is an issue of just power dynamics. Like studies have been done, and I can't cite any off the top of my head, but like studies have been done that it's completely like a power and control sort of thing that encourages someone to want to take from someone and to inflict themselves upon another. I don't think jacking off is going to like, if you're going to rape someone, jacking off is not going to prevent that urge.
I agree, 100%.
You should have that urge in the first place.
Yeah.
So
if
like,
anything, they should offer a service of
therapy
or at least medical help if someone feels the urge and compelled to do that to another person. And I truly believe that it spurs from some type of substance abuse. At many college parties, I think girls are raped more by drunk guys than sober guys.
Yeah, but then it's substance abuse. But then to take it a step further, because not all drunk guys are immediately going to think to rape somebody, I think it's just a broader issue of misogyny. Like, to be very perfectly blunt about it, like, I feel as though there's just a sense, I think, in like very strongly misogynistic cultures where women are objectified and people are so desensitized on porn websites, for instance, to very like extreme brutalized porn and stuff.
Yes, and the extreme just force men have in the bedroom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially, and when you see that on porn, because porn is an industry that, if anything, like propagates that sort of I don't know, that sort of like inflicting of sex upon another person versus it being a consensual act. And like, you know, just like images that you see media really don't do anything to like de-glamorize that. I don't know how to phrase it any better, but I feel as though like just the urge of men to have like control, because there is a toxic masculinity associated in that, you know? The urge to be the alpha male and to like take what's yours, and if you're not assertive enough, you know, you're a beta or anything like that. Like, I feel like if you mix that, which is already kind of like a deadly mindset to have, if it's ingrained in you so deeply, which it is,
it's floating around campuses all the time. Who is the top dog? Who has slept with the most?
I mean, in fraternities, it's ridiculous.
Oh, I don't even go near our Greek housing. It's toxic. Okay.
I think fraternities in general kind of propagate that. There's certain communities that sort of they sort of celebrate that sort of sense of I guess I'm gonna say toxic masculinity. And like, I mean, if you combine that with substances, obviously you loosen the train of thoughts and thinking. Like, I mean, it's just a recipe for disaster. Especially when you mix it with like mentalities, and this is a lot of the time how it's justified with rapes, like, you know, taking advantage of girls that are drunk. You justify it, that desire to like take, with, well, she shouldn't have been drinking, she shouldn't have been out without friends, she shouldn't have been walking at that time of night, she shouldn't have been wearing that. Like,
it's also an excuse to give to men that, well, are you rubbing enough out, or are you putting in enough time so that you don't feel compelled to take advantage towards her? It's just setting up men to say, oh, but you know, it's up to me to take care of myself, when really, I don't know.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, you're giving men a defense to use.
Right.
And honestly, like, I can guarantee that it's for example, if you just think about it in the ways that just masturbating versus sex are like two different animals, you know. One has like another person involved. That's an entirely different dynamic to being by yourself. So I don't know how like it's even comparable that like masturbation versus something that involves another person inherently, they're not even similar. I can't imagine like that they like try to enforce that with like roommates, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then already not involving girls in that sort of thing, because like, I don't know, it's wrong on so many levels. I can't wrap my head around it.
The article that I read claimed that New York University has since apologized for the way they worded their new,
like, whatever
their intentions for this new regulation. This regulation was not to imply that it was an excuse or a justification for men and the raping of many girls in college.
Just college assault.
They were trying to prevent and encourage self pleasure, I suppose, and also to help the awkwardness loosen. I guess between roommates, there's been issues of time to, you know, come in and times to stay out. I don't know, but that's just, they had good intentions, it sounds like, but the way it came across was totally
just misinformed.
And also taken about the wrong way.
Yeah, and like the thing, another one of my issues is that it implies that like I know sex is taboo on a lot of different levels. Like you're not encouraged to really have open discussions with it about it and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if anything, I find that girls are more sexually repressed or forced to be sexually repressed in that way than men are. They're less educated, just inherently. They're not encouraged to learn about it. They just kind of stumble across it or find out through experience. And I really feel as though men are not the ones that need to be encouraged to masturbate.
Right.
And I mean, we all have these urges.
Exactly. And we have free condoms floating around campus on the ground on our sidewalks. Mm-hmm. But never once have I seen free birth control.
No.
Free anything to do with
free sanitary equipment for women's periods. Yeah, that stuff is expensive. There's no urge to take care. You're not even supposed to bring it up. You know what I'm saying? No. Like it's when women are sexual, it's referred to as dirty. Like it's dirty to think about. It's sure we've gotten past the point where it's separation of church and state, and it's not inherently sinful. But we've also, just by the emphasis on purity of women, just that being a societal norm, we've gotten to the point where anything involving a woman's body that may be sexual, is just unhygienic. It's just dirty. It's referred to as swept on the table as being slutty.
And relating back to Ted Cruz, if he were a woman, I guarantee you and assure you, he would have not made it as far as he has. And this scandal wouldn't have been laughed off as much because he's a man.
Yeah,
that's what boys do. That's what men do.
It is exactly. Just the mentality. I don't even think he'd have been able to make it this far as a politician who the majority of his views are Christian. I just can't wrap my head around it. It's just unbelievable, the double standard, and how I feel as though it's almost purposefully negligent. I really can't imagine someone being so backwards in their mentalities about what causes assault. It's it's a very boys will be boys sort of thought process, when the real issue is enforced power dynamics between men. And it's disgusting. No, because
inequality between men and women that still exists economically as well.
Economically,
wage gaps. That's insane. Mm-hmm. Listen, if anyone wants to fight me on this, fight me right now, because we're both at college. We're both trying to further our education so that our income potentially can be much higher than if we were women who did not go to college and did not get a further more for education.
Post-secondary education.
Post-secondary education. And the fact that I know potentially when I'm out of college and we're both in the workforce, our income will still be less than men solely because we are women, just boggles my mind.
Yeah, and we're already kind of lucky because we're white, but it's even worse for I think the people that have the most trouble. I want to say salary-wise, and I have read some sort of study on this, and I do want to go back and find it now that I've thought about it. I do want to say it's black women who have it the worst. It's either black or Hispanic, and it's just a mixture of being a racial minority and a gender minority. Just enforces all of these mentalities and stuff like that. And it's just gross because society and media just feeds right into it, and we kind of believe, I think we are under the misguided perception that we're further away from the past than we are. If you think about it, it's only been 50 years since, segregation, Jim Crow laws. Or I don't want to say 50 maybe is less appropriate to say, but I don't know the exact amount of years, but we're not that far out.
Racism and sexism still persists today.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
There's certainly a majority that is caught up with the times, but the minority that does have power in women's income and the higher employment of certain skin colors is it's still a problem today, and no one seems to take that into account, that the issues that we have today spur from those mentalities.
And we were actually looking at one of these different things in class. Now, I do want to say this is I want to say this is a New York Times article type thing, but so it might have that bent. But it was a page, and it was called "The Faces of Power in America," right? And so what it did, and we kind of digressed, I guess, from the Ted Cruz topic, but just as a perspective, right, on just the way that America's just becoming increasingly like an oligarchy of just a group of people in power, is that...
Let me sit this week.
Yeah, let me just, no, so it's basically a big long page, and it lists off people who hold power in America. So it'll be like, here are the faces of the people in Congress. Here's the president. Here are all the presidents in the past and now. Here's some texts. Here are the people who run the Fortune 500 companies. Here are people who call the shots on what movies get made, music industry. It just goes on like that, right? It's mind-boggling. Like I'll give you the link to it. Like it's unnerving because even like insofar as like, you know, in Congress and Senate, just like it'll have like 50 people and then it'll have like maybe 2 people of color. You know what I'm saying? You know, the president's obviously, and that's something that we've been a little bit desensitized to, and it's, you know, it's an ongoing concept. But like the film industry maybe had, I want to say had 2 or 3 people of color out of like 30, like ridiculous. And then the music industry had maybe 1 or 2.
That's,
you know, people who call the shots on what music gets made. And I heard someone make a counter argument for this when we were looking at this in class. Someone was looking at, I can't like judge off the top of my head how many people were on it. I do want to say there were like 20 or so. These are the main record producers. They run the labels. They call the shots and who gets signed, what music gets made by who. And there are a few people of color on it. And someone in our class was like, well, I don't know if this is convincing. And the teacher or the professor was like, why? And he's like, because this person right here, and this is his name, and I don't remember who, he signed Dr. Dre, and rap is such a up-and-coming genre in the zeitgeist or whatever, and that's what he said, or something along those lines, and that like, there's no way, like I don't feel as though these, you know, even though they're white, they're oppressing black people. But then the question that follows that, like, why aren't black people running the labels then? Why aren't there more? Like, why isn't there more representation? And then, you know, with the film industry, it's the same thing. Why aren't there more black people in movies? Why are the highest paid actresses all white?
Why are certain roles that require certain skin color filled by white people?
Yeah, exactly.
As a white girl myself, I know that I have privilege. I know that I've been given certain opportunities in my life solely based on the color of my skin. People approach me a certain way.
Yeah, as more intelligent naturally.
More intelligent at
we speak.
Right, and I know I have privilege and I know that I've been given certain things, but at the same time, it's my responsibility to help those in the minority.
Right.
Because while I have all this power, I need to use it
in a way that you also, and the other thing that's really important, and this is the mistake that people make, is then there's white people that become aware of the privilege that they have. And I mean, again, this in and of itself might be an example of this, but they try and speak over the people who are actually having the problems. You know, they're trying to begin to run the movement now. They're like, oh, well, I have this power, let's fix everything. Like, really, I think the appropriate person that a person that is white and has that set of privilege should do in this sort of situation is to step back and let people that are actually people of color like speak and like raise their voices and use their power to elevate the voices of actual people. So I mean, it's a wild deal living in America today. I mean, can't even express.
I'm sure I have some subscribers who aren't from America or who aren't from the Western world, and some of our ideals may seem very backwards, and some of them are a new concept to you, but this is just a topic today that we wanted to cover, and
we have some conservatives following this channel actually, or subscribing.
Yeah.
But like,
bring some light and shed it on certain matters today that I just can't believe are still happening.
Yeah, it's crazy too. Like, you know, at the end of the day, like, even when we have these like silly kind of things like, oh man, Ted Cruz was watching porn, if you just keep on elaborating about like, you just keep elaborating on politics in general, it always comes back to this, that there's these inherent disparities and stuff like that, and that the mentality of so many people who are very pro-church versus state just kind of shines through. And at the end of the day, like, I hate to be this person, but like if you really do the research, right, if you really look at the journals and the research that's been done, statistics, studies, and like from all sides, like inherently research and scientific processes are not meant to be biased. Like the people who interpret them may be,
right,
but like, you know, facts don't lie. You can look at journals. And honestly, like, I know that like the perspectives of a lot of conservative Americans are really just founded in the fact that morality should like be placed before like you know, science and research. Just morality is like
wrong in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. No, but like mentality is like, you know, this is sinful, right? XYZ is sinful, or you know, the Bible said X, Y, Z, it can't be true kind of thing. Like, they place their faith in morality before, like, scientific facts. And I feel like these two things should, like, support each other or not. Like, I don't know. We're living on this earth today. I'm like all through and through, or like, I'm very left-wing, so, you know, it's wild to think about.
Yeah.
It's where you prioritize, you know.
Prioritize and where you come from and
who you think is important.
Yeah. What you think is important. And I come from a very conservative family, and as I've matured the last year and 2 years, my ideals have changed quite a bit. And not to say that I have not caught flack from that, from certain close friends and family. I certainly have, and that's fine because I don't place my beliefs in that anymore. I feel like there are more important problems, and even this past year, I've totally seen some of my ideals make a 180 and
just kind of fall away in the face of like just critical vibes.
Nothing's going to change unless we fight for it. So,
so you know, I'm just talking about it.
This is a series I really wanted to bring to my channel, a way that we can base a community off of certain beliefs, and even if you disagree, we can talk about it, and you can give me your stance, and we're
constantly learning like ourselves too, like as you know, as white individuals. I would say that I feel as though if you're raised white, to some extent you're going to like absorb some inherently racist mentalities because that's just how you're raised. So we're learning too, right? We're unlearning, and we're just progressing, and hopefully we're going to be able to lift the voices of others and stuff. And
Ted Cruz, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's really fun. You know, I love the memes that are being made about it.
Oh, the memes are great. I'll insert some.
Yeah, please do, because there are some really genuinely fun. Like, I think at the end of the day, though, like it's just poking fun at Ted Cruz is really.
My camera died, so we're back to film the outro. So, anyways, let us know what you think about this kind of topic video. It was really casual to film.
Yeah, like I don't know. I feel like I always sound a little bit more aggressive than I actually feel. But you know, very passionate about these issues. I think that's the most important. It's just feeling it. But
so leave us some more topics down below. And when Amber's free, she's gonna be back on my channel.
I will be. Yeah, and this is actually my loft. We're hanging out in here. So like,
this is her nice. Okay, it died again. So we're back on my iPhone. Anyways, leave us some more topics in the comments below. Amber's social media and band information will be down there as well.
Definitely.
And thanks for watching.
Bye guys.